Most people never realize just how many hidden traps are draining their wealth. And there are 7 wealth killers that almost no one talks about. If you're aware of these and take action, you could potentially save tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. Now, everyone's financial journey is different, but by recognizing these overlooked threats, you can protect what you've worked so hard to build. So let's get started with one of the hardest truths to be aware of: divorce. Now, the statistics on divorce are eye opening and serve as a reminder of just how crucial it is to choose the right partner to build your life with. According to the American Psychological Association, the likelihood of a first marriage ending in divorce in 2024 is around 41%, and the odds are even higher for second marriages, up to 60 to 67%. Each divorce can come with substantial costs, not only in legal fees, but also in hidden expenses that many don't consider, which we'll get into shortly. Now, the most common reasons for divorce, according to Forbes Advisor, includes lack of commitment, 75%, infidelity, 60%, conflict, 58%, married too young, 45%, and financial problems, 38%. Now, these numbers show just how important it is to find a partner who shares your values and long-term vision for life. Of course, you need to care for one another, but it's also about understanding each other's priorities, like where you both want to be in 5 to 10 or even 15 years. Do they want a family, or are they more focused on their career? How do they think about money? These are the kinds of questions that shape a relationship's foundation. And listen, I'm no marriage expert, but aligning on these topics can be critical for a lasting marriage because often these differences only become problems years into the relationship. When it comes to a divorce as a wealth killer, the financial impact can be severe. Divorce costs can range from $7,000 to $20,000, but that's just the start. Things like child support, alimony, and splitting up assets, including potentially half of your life savings, can push that cost much higher. Depending on your personal financial situation, divorce can completely derail your wealth building efforts. From my own experience helping clients through this challenging process, I've seen firsthand just how many hidden costs can arise. Here are a few that people often overlook. The first being tax implications. Your filing status changes going from married filing jointly to single or head of household, which often increases your tax burden. For example, in 2024, the standard deduction drops from $29,200 to $14,600 if you switch to filing single, unless you itemize deductions. If your divorce is finalized before the end of the year, you won't be able to file jointly for that tax year, which can make a significant difference in your tax bill. Second is healthcare costs. If you are covered under your spouse's employer provided health insurance plan, you'll need to find new coverage, often on the private market. Depending on your age and health, finding a plan that meets your needs without disrupting your finances can be a challenge. Third is moving expenses. Leaving the marital home often means covering costs like a new down payment, moving services, and often furnishing a new place. If you need to sell the home, you might also face realtor fees, closing costs, and potentially selling during a downturn in the real estate market, which could mean not getting the value you've hoped to get. Fourth is loss of retirement benefits. Pensions, 401ks, and other retirement accounts might be split during a divorce and can significantly reduce your retirement savings. The lost opportunity for compounding growth can be a major setback, especially if you are counting on those funds for your future plans. Fifth is business ownership. If a business is considered marital property, it might require a professional valuation, which I've seen can cost up to $20,000 depending on the size of the business. If one spouse lacks the experience to run the business, or if there's other partners involved, things can get complicated and very expensive. Lastly, emotional and physical health. Divorce is tough, emotionally and physically. Therapy or counseling, both for yourself and your children, can be costly but often necessary to recover. The stress can take a toll on your well being, and the impact on your career. Time off for court dates, meetings, or just to heal can affect your income. If one partner has sacrificed their career for the family, rebuilding professionally can require a lot of time and investment. Many of these financial challenges can be managed or even prevented with a prenuptial agreement, but only about 15% of people consider this option. Ultimately, choosing who to spend your life with is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You have the opportunity to find someone who will support you through life's ups and downs, helping each other grow, or it can turn out the other way. So take your time, know what you want, and choose wisely. The second wealth killer on our list is buying a new car. Many of us see a new car as a symbol of success and status, but the reality is that this can be a serious financial drain. As of 2023, the average monthly cost to own a new vehicle is $1,015, according to AAA. That's a 13.5% increase from 2022. And a lot of people are finding it tough to fit this rising expense into their budgets. Inflation's pushed up the price of new cars, depreciation rates are climbing, and insurance premiums keep on increasing as well. But what's interesting is that nobody really talks about how much they owe on their car, right? They'd rather just show off the make and the model. It's easy to let our identity get wrapped up in what kind of a car we drive, and this can lead to making decisions that are not in our best financial interest. Here is why buying a new car can be a major wealth killer and what you should keep in mind. High monthly payments. With new cars, those monthly payments can quickly become a burden that eats into your cash flow, leaving less room for savings and investments. It's easy to get caught up in that new car smell, right? Without realizing how much it's costing you each month. Higher maintenance and insurance costs. Newer cars typically come with higher insurance premiums and sometimes higher maintenance costs, especially if they require specialized parts or services. Those extra expenses can add up quickly and even make it harder to manage your budget. Lifestyle inflation. Buying a new car can be a gateway to other forms of lifestyle inflation. So when you get used to driving a newer, more luxurious car, it can set a mental standard that leads to upgrading other things in your life, like clothes, fancy gadgets, or even vacations. This habit can pull you further away from your long-term financial goals. And then there's depreciation, the silent wealth killer, I call it. It's one of the biggest reasons I avoid buying new cars. The moment you drive that car off the lot, its value drops. According to Kelley Blue Book, a typical new car loses 20% of its value during the first year, and from there, they often depreciate by about 15% per year in the first 4 to 5 years. This means that what you paid for that car is shrinking in value fast, which is why a new car is rarely a smart investment. But there's a way to beat depreciation. Consider buying a car that's 2 to 3 years old. By then, the steepest depreciation has already happened, and you can get a new car in basically new condition at a much lower price. A 2 to 3 year old car should save you thousands while still giving you the perks and reliability of a newer model. The next wealth killer is high interest debt. And credit card debt is often the one to focus on here. While some types of debt can be more manageable, like a mortgage or student loans, because you can deduct the interest on those, credit card debt doesn't come with those benefits. For example, with a home mortgage, you can deduct the interest on the first $750,000 of debt, or up to $1 million if you took out the loan before December of 2017. For student loans, you can deduct up to $2,500 of interest paid each year. But as of 2024, personal loans, car loans, and especially credit cards don't offer any tax benefits on the interest you pay. Now, when you carry a balance on your credit card, you're sacrificing future wealth building opportunities. And if that balance gets out of control, it can become a serious financial burden, especially once it creeps past $10,000. Just keeping up with the interest can feel like a constant uphill battle. And here's what I mean. As of October 2024, the average APR for credit cards is 28.46%. If you have a $10,000 balance and are putting $250 a month toward paying it, which is a significant amount of money, by the way, it would still take nearly 11 years to clear that debt, and you'd end up paying an extra $22,000 in interest. That's more than double what you originally borrowed, right? Being in this position can trap you in debt for years, limiting your financial flexibility and squeezing your monthly cash flow. If you become over leveraged, you might even find yourself having to sell assets just to pay down the debt, which can seriously set back your wealth building goals. But you don't have to get caught in this cycle. A good rule of thumb is to keep your total debt payments below 35 to 40% of your gross monthly income. For example, if you earn $4,000 a month before taxes and deductions, your debt payments shouldn't exceed $1,600, 40% of $4,000. Remember, your gross income is your total pay before things like your 401k contributions, federal taxes, Social Security, and Medicare are taken out. Now, to find this number, take a look at your pay stub. If you're paid every 2 weeks and your gross pay is $1,600, multiply that by 2 to get your monthly gross income, $3,200. Then multiply that by zero point 0.4 and you'll see that $1,280 is the maximum you should be dedicating to debt payments each month. By staying aware of these limits, you can keep your debt from taking over your finances and maintain the flexibility you need to build wealth over time. Moving on to the next wealth killer, staying on the sidelines and not investing. I've seen this scenario play out countless times in my decade plus experience as a financial planner. When the market is hitting all-time highs, people often think, I'm just going to wait for it to come back down and wait for it to cool off. And when the market dips, many rush to sell and decide to wait for the right time to get back in. But the truth is, staying on the sidelines is a guaranteed way to miss out on building real wealth over your lifetime. Just because the market goes down during a year doesn't mean it will end the year in the red. Let's take a look at this. In 2023, the market experienced a 10% dip at one point, but by the end of the year, it had actually climbed to finish up 24%. The most striking example of this is 2020 when COVID hit. The market dropped 34%, but by the end of that same year, it was up positive 16%. If you sold your investments during the crash and stayed on the sidelines, you would have missed out on that 16% rebound forever. To see how important it is to stay invested, just look at these numbers from Fidelity. Here's how a $10,000 investment in the S&P 500 could have grown from 1988 to 2023. If you missed just the 5 best days, your portfolio value would be slashed by 37%. Missing the 10 best days would cut your value by 54%, and missing 50 best days would mean a loss of 92%. It's clear staying invested, even when the market is rocky, makes all the difference. Volatility is part of the game. Markets will go up and down, sometimes more than you'd like. But when things get uncertain, it's important to zoom out and remember the big picture. Historically, even with major crises along the way, markets tend to trend upwards over time. Real wealth is built by playing the long game, riding out the tough times, and keeping your focus on the future rather than trying to time the market. The next wealth killer is not adjusting for inflation. We all know that the recent inflationary period has driven up prices across the board. In June of 2022, inflation peaked at nearly 9%. While it's settled to around 3 to 3.5% now, we're still feeling the impact in our everyday lives. Take groceries, for example. What used to cost under $100 a week can now easily reach $150 to $200 depending on what you buy. It's important to remember that even when inflation rates drop, prices don't necessarily come down. It just means that prices aren't rising as quickly anymore. So those higher costs at the grocery store or for other essentials, they're probably here to stay. And on top of that, higher interest rates have made homes less affordable and debt more expensive. Now, to protect yourself from the effects of inflation, you need to take action in 2 key areas. First, adjust your budget and understand where your money is going. Focus on covering your essential expenses first and look for opportunities to cut out unnecessary spending, at least temporarily. The goal is to prioritize what matters most to keep your financial plan on track. And second, focus on increasing your skills and the value you bring to your job. This could mean taking on new responsibilities, earning certifications, or finding ways to improve your performance. By doing this, you can position yourself to ask for a raise or even seek out a new job that pays you more. If you're not adjusting your budget or earning more to keep pace with inflation, your purchasing power will continue to shrink over time. And listen, I understand this stuff isn't easy, but it all comes down to being proactive and control what you can control. By tightening up your budget and investing in yourself, you can navigate these challenging times and keep building toward your financial goals even when prices stay high. Wealth killer number 6 is neglecting your health. Neglecting your health can be a major wealth killer. Poor health often leads to chronic illnesses or unexpected emergencies that can result in high medical bills, lost productivity, and even a shorter working life. These costs can drain your savings, making it harder to invest and save for your future. Health issues can bring unexpected out-of-pocket expenses, missed work days, and in severe cases, long-term financial instability due to the need for ongoing care or even forcing you into early retirement. But the good news is you can take steps to protect both your health and your financial future by investing in yourself. Exercise on a regular basis. I get my workout in early in the morning before the wife and kids wake up. Try to eat healthier. I'm definitely not perfect with this, but I'm trying to be better. And routine medical checkups, I try to make a priority. These small, consistent habits can have a big impact on your overall well being and help you avoid costly medical issues down the road. Leverage health insurance options wherever possible. If your employer offers health insurance, make sure you're taking advantage of it. If your spouse has a better plan, see if you can switch over. And if you're self employed, it's especially important to prioritize your health since you'll need to navigate the open market for insurance. Taking care of yourself now means less worry about unexpected medical bills later down the road. Beyond the physical toll, poor health can come with increased stress and anxiety, which can affect your decision making. This emotional strain can make it harder to manage your finances effectively, leading to impulse buying, withdrawing from investments at the wrong time, or failing to plan for the future. Financial wellness is closely linked to good health, while high financial stress can put both your physical and mental well being at risk, as research from Columbia University Medical Center shows. Now, again, I'm no health expert. I try to eat healthy and stay active, but none of us are perfect at this. But at the end of the day, taking care of your body and mind is one of the best investments you can make. It's not just about living longer, but about maintaining the financial stability you need to enjoy life to the fullest. By prioritizing your health, you're also taking a critical step toward building and preserving your wealth. And finally, the last wealth killer is having no insurance protection. Now, there are 5 key types of insurance that everyone should consider to protect their assets and secure their wealth: life insurance, disability insurance, home insurance, auto insurance, and umbrella insurance. Now, insurance is crucial because the path to financial freedom isn't just about building wealth. It's about preserving the wealth you've worked so hard to build. I'm willing to bet that many of you already have home insurance and auto insurance. And while home insurance isn't legally required in any state, most lenders will require it if you have a mortgage. And of course, auto insurance is mandatory in nearly every state. So if you drive, you likely already have that covered. But not everyone has or fully understands the importance of life insurance, disability insurance, and umbrella insurance. So let's break down each of these pretty quickly. Not having life insurance can be a major wealth killer. Without it, any debts or unpaid bills you leave behind could become your family's burden. And if you're the primary earner, your passing could put them in serious financial trouble, making it difficult for them to maintain their lifestyle. On top of that, they need to cover final expenses like funeral costs out of pocket. Life insurance provides a safety net so your loved ones are protected during one of the most challenging times in their lives. Next is disability insurance. This is critical if you're ever unable to work due to illness or injury. It can replace a portion of your income until you're back on your feet. Now, according to Life Insure, if you're under age 35, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you'll be disabled for at least 6 months at some point in your career, and by age 42, you're 4 times more likely to become seriously disabled than to pass away during your working years. So those numbers are pretty eye-opening. And here's the thing with life and disability insurance: you don't buy them with money, you buy them with your health. The younger and healthier you are, the cheaper your premiums will be. It's especially true with disability insurance, where your occupation can also play a big role in the cost. For example, if you're working in high rise construction, your premiums will be much higher compared to a desk job like accounting because there's a lot more risk working in high rise construction. Now, umbrella insurance provides an extra layer of protection on top of your auto and home insurance policies. It's there to cover you and your family in various situations, like if your child is sued from causing a car accident, if your dog attacks a neighbor, or if you're involved in a major car accident and your auto insurance doesn't provide enough coverage. Now, umbrella insurance isn't for everybody, but it's definitely worth considering as your income and net worth grows. It's typically not needed when you're just starting out with a lower net worth, but once you cross the $1 million net worth mark, it becomes a smart option, especially since the cost is relatively low for the additional coverage. Now, keep in mind, life changes over time, so it's important to evaluate your insurance coverage regularly, at least on an annual basis, and adjust it as needed. This way, you'll be better prepared for any unforeseen risks that can come your way. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.